How's it going, everybody? My name is Dustin Schaefer. I play guitar for Shane Smith and the Saints out of Austin, Texas. And before we dive into this guitar, I want to tell you guys a little backstory. I met Walker a couple years ago, I think at Steamboat, and we kind of kept in touch. And over the years, Walker's built pickups for me and fixed my broken guitars and this and that. And I guess about 2 years ago, I was actually gifted serial number 001 of Doubleday guitars, which looks like one of these guys, one of these T-style guitars. And it's an amazing guitar. It is a Telecaster. It is spanky and twangy and clear and chimey and all the things that you want in a Telecaster. And I was lucky enough to be a part of the season premiere for season 5 of Yellowstone. And if you guys are fans of Yellowstone, you can actually see and hear that guitar at the end of that episode when we are premiered, kind of playing the governor's party. So check out Yellowstone, see serial 001 in action. And now let's dive into this guy. This is I believe the Starling, sorry. This is going to be called the Starling, and it is a Strat-style guitar. When I do solo shows, I do primarily a Strat, so this is right in my wheelhouse. And I'm just going to kind of take you through some of my favorite Strat tones and stylings, and just give this guitar a full run through. So here we go. So before we dive in, I'm just going to give you guys a dry, just clean tone of what my amp tone is through all the pickups. So this is all knobs on 10, no effects, straight into the amp. So it's a nice big neck pickup sound, this 4th position. Middle position. Probably one of my favorite Strat tones, the 2nd position. And then bridge position. So there you go. There's all the tones of the guitar, just dry, straight in, no effects. So one of my, I'm going to start at the neck pickup and work my way back. One of my favorite tones to emulate is sort of that John Mayer bluesy neck pickup, and I do that. I have an Exotic Effects AC booster, and it's set pretty low gain, just trying to get a little kick to the front end of the amp. It fattens it up a little bit. Keep the tone knob all the way up and roll off the volume knob just a little bit, and I like to use my fingers, so kind of that. So that's one I use a lot, in little bluesy sections. And if we turn that up, turn the volume knob back up to 10, I can kick on a little boost, add some delay and verb, and get into that Gilmore land, So yeah, those are some of my favorite neck pickup tones with Strats. I usually keep it pretty low gain. Once you start adding a bunch of drive and stuff to the neck pickup, it kind of gets a little muddy for my taste. So yeah, some of my favorite neck pickup tones. So we'll get to this 4th position, which I think is a great kind of 80s rhythm tone. That kind of stuff. kick on a little boost if you want to dirty it up a little bit. I listen to a lot of Corey Wong and Wolfpack. I don't really have his technique, but some of that. I'm not very good at that stuff, but it's very cool, especially if you have a little chorus or I don't run a compressor on this board, but definitely if you're doing clean kind of strat stuff, kick that front end with a compressor and really get that sustain out of it. So the middle position on a Strat is probably the one I use the least, but it's definitely very signature, if you're a Stevie guy. That kind of stuff. It's very good for... Middle position to me has a very woody kind of tone to it, kind of reedy in a way. I think it sounds cool if you hit it with a ton of verb, ton of delay, and you want to do like Patty kind of stuff, like. Position is good for that kind of stuff. So there's a couple of middle position tones I like to use for my own personal playing. So second position is probably my favorite rhythm tone on a Strat. I have a song that I wrote with my friend Jade Patek called Cold Shoulder, and it's just a real simple lick, but it's definitely second position vibes, kind of hit it with some boost just to give it a little break up. Oh, it's in B. I also think the second position is actually really good for chicken picking, especially if you want to achieve that sort of Albert Lee kind of vibe. Let me dial in a little slap back here. Let's see. There we go. It's kind of in the ballpark for. And turn the treble up a little bit. Second position on a Strat, you can only get that sound with one of these guitars. So moving on to the bridge pickup. The bridge pickup by far is the pickup I use the most in any scenario. This is kind of my just dry fuzz tone. This is an Old School Effects. It's called the Razor Burn. Old School Effects is a company out of Victoria, Texas, and Sam has built me a ton of pedals over the years, and this is one of my favorite fuzz pedals because it has this. It's kind of like a contour knob. I actually have it kind of ran more like an overdrive. So if you have it turned all the way down, real mid-rangey and very overdrive-like. And then if you go, I think, all the way to the right, it's more fizzy. We're not not fizzy is the right. It's just it changes the kind of mid-range emphasis. So I run it kind of about halfway, and gain a little past noon, and it makes a great like kind of rock rhythm, you know. Actually get some pretty fat tones, you know, out of a single coil pickup if you use that fuzz in that sort of way. Probably the tone that I use personally the most, this is just kind of like my lead tone kind of thing, is this other old school effects overdrive. It's called the Honey Badger, which I've had for years. It's survived fires and all that stuff, and this pedal is pretty much what you hear me using 80% of the time, just that nice. So it's kind of more like my tone, you know, if I were to show up to a session and just play a solo in my own particular style, it's going to be that sort of vibe most of the time. And then last but not least is probably my Eric Johnson rip-off tone, which tone is mostly here, but Eric Johnson is one of my big influences, and I'll run the fuzz pedal into the exotic and roll off the volume knob just a little bit, roll off the tone knob a little bit with some delay, and then you get that. So there you have it. There's some of my favorite tones. Just a kind of a brief overview of this guitar. Flamed maple fretboard. Beautiful, like just flawless neck. I believe Walker said it's kind of V-C shaped in between. It does have a little bit of a point, but not too much. It's not like super exaggerated. It feels comfortable in my hands. You know, I like a meaty neck, and it does have probably a fatter neck than most Strats I've played. Not all of them, but very comfortable. What do you call this color? Sonic blue, and then a mint pickguard pickup. It's just a very classic vintage. You know, looks like a classic car. Like I said, I have Walker's T model guitar, and the craftsmanship is impeccable, you know. And what's cool is, like, you know, I know a lot of guitar makers they'll buy parts, they'll buy necks, and I can say with confidence as a witness that this is all handmade. Like, Walker takes a chunk of wood, sands it by hand, you know. This beautiful skunk stripe, I actually just saw one downstairs that was in the works, so like I know this is all meticulously hand done. It's all painted here, it's all in-house, and super stoked to see this business grow and just become something like, you know, I've known Walker long enough to where he was, you know, this was kind of an idea, and to see it come to fruition and him making and selling beautiful pieces of art it's a beautiful thing. So I encourage you guys to check out Walker's pages on social media. Doubleday Guitars, I assume, is the handle for most of them, and just watch his business grow and see bitchin' guitars out there in the world making beautiful music. So cheers, y'all. Hope you enjoyed.